welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to explain to you that there is a ease of restriction, so you can now travel down to the UK without, the need for quarantine. And this rigorous PCR test, which you have to do, is scrapped. So let me explain it further to you guys. Let's jump into it.
Serving their purpose, they will be dropped. So when the Omicron variant was first identified, we rightly introduced travel restrictions to slow its arrival in our country. But now Omicron is so prevalent, these measures are having limited impact on the growth in cases while continuing to pose significant costs to our travel industry. So I can announce that in England from 4 a.m. on Friday, we will be scrapping the pre-departure test, which discourages many from travelling for fear of being trapped overseas and incurring significant extra expense. We will also be lifting the requirement to self-isolate on arrival until receipt of a negative PCR, returning instead to the system we had in October last year, where those arriving in England will need to take a lateral flow test no later than the end of day 2, and if positive, a further PCR test to help us identify any...
For inbound travelers coming to the UK, for wherever you are traveling from, all you need to do, there's two conditions. If you are fully vaccinated or not vaccinated or partially vaccinated. So for those who are fully vaccinated, the ease of restrictions as announced by the Prime Minister Boris Johnson says that you only need to book a lateral flow test, which is you need to conduct a lateral flow test, which is less expensive. It costs only about £10 if you have to book, but it is not that NHS lateral flow test kit that you can find around or you order for. But this one you have to order from the government approved vendors, which you can find from the .gov.uk, www.gov.uk, and then under the COVID, and then you now search for the lateral flow test. So you see the vendors, you click on their link, then it costs about, most of them, £11, £15 for even 2 kits, for 2 packs of kits. So it's less expensive for you if you're traveling from this. You need to order for online, then you get a reference number from it, which will be generated, which you need to also fill out passenger locator form, which we usually do for traveling back to the UK. So for all inbound travelers to the UK, this is the restriction is affect, and it make life so easy, make travel always come back to normal. And what we're seeing is people are actually demanding and doing booking to travel. People who have been, being discouraged because of expensive, a lot of money they have to spend each time they travel or incur. These are no longer, applicable. So people are now looking for places to travel to, and most of the airlines are actually saying things are getting back pre-departure level. The number of sales they are making, and people are actually demanding to travel. They are making inquiries. People are booking for holiday to jet out either for the summer or for the spring, and people actually want to go out there because of ease of restriction. So this edition of the United Kingdom, which has scrapped quarantine, I'm going to explain this further to you in perspective. If you're traveling, for instance, away from Nigeria, what are the things that you need? If you are fully vaccinated, you just need to get the lateral flow test and also fill in the passenger locator form, which is very easy. But there are some other conditions which you need to understand. Let's go further in this video and I explain it further to you guys. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to my channel, share it if you haven't subscribed, and also please let me have your comments as regards this. So what we're saying is this: as from the 9th of January, Sunday the 9th of January 2022, travelers coming to the United Kingdom do not have to go for PCR negative test certificate, which you need to present to the airline before boarding. This has been scrapped. Also, if you are fully vaccinated and you are traveling to the UK, you only need to book what is called the lateral flow test, which you have to take the test when you arrive in the UK within the 2 days of arriving in the UK. This is so based on the announcement by the government of the United Kingdom to ensure that an ease of restrictions, so that people can, be able to enjoy what is called normal travel, opportunities because of the pandemic. Let me explain further. What this ease of restriction means is that if, as a traveler coming to the UK, you do not have to present a PCR negative test to, airlines before boarding. So pre-departure PCR test has been completely scrapped. So you can easily travel down to the UK by only filling the locator form, which is a passenger locator form, which you can download from the government website .gov.uk, and I also book a lateral flow test. This lateral flow test, we say, is quite more faster and easier, and less expensive than the PCR. The PCR has been so expensive that it's been draining a lot of travelers from, and even discouraging them from traveling because of the expenses you incur by purchasing pre-departure PCR and some other restrictions being placed across the countries where you're traveling to. So this is actually a ease to most travelers. And what happened in the UK is that there have been a surge in the number of travelers. A lot more people are actually now booking the holidays for the summer. People are booking a holiday even around in the spring, just to make sure that they enjoy, what we call ease of traveling, because of too much money. It's very expensive traveling around, especially during the pandemic. And now, what this entails to most travelers coming from, let me put it this way, from Nigeria, is this: if you are fully vaccinated, just simply you just need to fill the locator form and also book a lateral flow test within the 48 hours. Within 2 days of you coming to the UK, you just need to fill this locator form and also fill out book for lateral flow test. Lateral flow test costs about £10. Most of the from the approved government website. The lateral flow test that is commonly freely given in the UK from the NHS is not the one you need to use when you're traveling back. It is the one you have to go online and go to the .gov.uk, then go for specific location where it is stated that these are the approved I would say the people who are actually laboratories or people who have to give you the lateral flow test. So you purchase from their website, directly linked from the .gov.uk, then you purchase it, which is about £10 for 2 people. I've seen one which is about £15 for if you want to have like 2 pack of a test like that. So you just need to, when you get this thing, there will be a kind of a general reference number will be generated that you need to put in your passenger locator form. So on landing to the UK, within the 2 days, you just need to do the lateral flow test, which actually will make it, which you have to do. Once you do that, if the result, because the result always comes immediately, so whatever the result, if it's negative, it means you don't need to self-isolate. So what the ease of discussion says is that there is no more quarantine unless when you arrive and you do the lateral flow test and you are positive. Because once you leave the airport, you go straight to your home, which in form of like self-isolation, just for you in the second day to do the lateral flow test. Once you do the lateral flow test and you come out negative, you do not need to self-isolate or stay in anything. So, but what it also says that if it's a positive, if it's first positive, it means you have to book for a PCR from the NHS, which is to reconfirm. If it's positive, you have to self-isolate. That's what I mean. If it's positive, you have to self-isolate for a period of a few days. When you need to retest again, after 5 days, if it's negative, then by checking your lateral flow test, if negative, then you need to also book a PCR from NHS. It's freely given for you to test your, COVID status. If it now comes negative, then you are free to, to be out of isolation. So, for those who are not vaccinated, they just have to, self-isolate on arrival in the UK after meeting those requirements I've just mentioned. Let's hear from the BBC News the latest updates.
It's currently 7 days, but Nadine Zahawi has told the Sunday Times it would be helpful if the UK's Health Security Agency agreed to cut it to 5 to ease staffing issues in the public and private sectors. The newspaper also reports that free lateral flow tests could soon be scrapped as part of plans for living with coronavirus. Here's our political correspondent, Jonathan Blake.
According to the Sunday Times, it could be within a matter of weeks that the use of lateral flow tests is limited to certain groups of people working in certain settings, schools and the NHS, for example. But a strong pushback from government that is going to happen, yet no decisions have been taken, we're told, and they remain an important part of the government's approach.
Further changes to COVID travel rules have come into force this morning. As of Friday, people no longer had to take a lateral flow test
as I
before
mentioned to
departing
you.
for the UK. Parents of 12 to 15.
So, as we just listened in from the news, it says that the ease of restriction has just fully into force as from Sunday the 9th of January 2022. So people traveling to the UK do not have to book that expensive PCR test before coming to the UK. They only need to, if they are fully vaccinated, they need to just book a lateral flow test, which they were going to use within the second day. In the second day of arriving in the UK, the lateral flow test is quite easier to use. It's much faster to get the result. So, and then they also, before boarding, need to fill the passenger locator form. So, the result, if it comes out positive, if the lateral flow test it comes out positive, they have to then self-isolate in the address where they've arrived, where they are staying. But if it's negative, there's no need for them to self-isolate. So, but they are also required to book for PCR NHS from the NHS, the PCR test kit. To before they come out of the isolation, if they are positive, they have to self-isolate, which is actually for 5 days, so 7 days. But there has been a call, as we heard in the news, that they are calling for it to be reduced, to be slashed to just 5 days. So if they continue to self-isolate as they are positive, and they then have to wait after the end of that 5 days, then or 7 days, then they will now need to book for PCR test. To check their COVID status. If it comes out negative, then that means they can now leave the isolation. So that is what it means now. A lot of people can easily now decide to travel around in the UK, outside the UK, to travel and to come back with less, which is less expensive, no rigors of paying to different laboratories outside the country to get your PCR negative status before coming down to the UK, which is very, very expensive. So this is what I'm saying. So it means there has been a surge in the number of travelers traveling to come down to the UK. I'm traveling the British trying to travel out of the UK because of this ease of restrictions. So for those who are not vaccinated or who are not fully vaccinated and they're traveling to the UK, what this ease of restriction says is that if you're coming, for instance, from Nigeria and you are not yet fully vaccinated, or maybe you're partially vaccinated or you're not fully vaccinated, you still need to get your negative PCR before coming, and also you still have to and then fill out the passenger locator form, as well as then when you now arrive, as well as booking the day 2, as well as day 2 and day 8 test, which is normal, which has been the arrangement put in place if you are not fully vaccinated and you are traveling to the UK. So on arrival, you have to self-isolate. You have to, go and self-isolate in an address that you've put in your passenger locator form. So that's what it is for those who are not vaccinated and traveling to the UK. So if you have any questions or you have comments about this latest travel rules which comes into force, please let me know, and please like this video, share it, and let me have some comment from you guys. Thank you for watching.